What we're coming into now is how to plan lifestyle goals, and we have to ask the question, how far am I prepared to go in order to reach my goal? Are you prepared to trade your life for it? Because finally, when you finally expire, whatever you've done your lifetime, that is what you traded your life for. If you want something tomorrow, you must plan something today, and do not ask others to set your goals for you. If you do that, you're relinquishing your God-given freedom of choice. When others set your goals, then it destroys your personal accountability. Now, what you're going to see here, you've never seen before in your life. And there's some rules. Follow the procedure, not the person. You'll break this straight away. But follow the procedure, not the person. Now, I need to ask each one of you your name, and I'll start with the ladies first. Speak into the microphone. What is your name?
Sherry Darden. April.
April?
Mm-hmm.
Yours, sir?
Mark.
Mark?
Mark.
Now, let me tell you what we're going to do here. I want the four of you to think of three things you want in your lifetime, to do everything you want to do, to bless everyone you want to bless, to invest in everything you want to invest, to look after your family, to give to mission, to do whatever you want. Three things. We're going to measure your vision. Now, the only restriction you have is what you put on it. You can have anything you want, but it must be materialistic. I don't want you saying you want to be a nice person. Al Capone's mother thought he was wonderful. But what we're going to do here, you can transfer to the spiritual, to the physical, and to the mental. But we're going to use this as an illustration, and we're going to go through this process. You're going to see something that you've never seen before in your life. I've done this nearly 1,000 times around the world. And Robert, you're in the hot seat. What are the three things you want?
I would like a company that would generate, at least $1 million a month.
You want some money. That's all right.
Money.
You've got the money. Okay, there's the money. What's the second thing you want? Look at his face. He's never thought about this before. And neither of you, and it scares the living daylights out of me. Because wherever I go in any country of the world, and I meet with Christians and they talk about vision, when you really nail them down, it's hard to get it out. I'm giving you time. I'm very kind to you at the moment. I won't be later. My Bible says, without vision, the people perish. Come on, I'm not going to let you off the hook, Robert. You've got to come up with one other thing. You can have anything you want. The only limitation is the things you're putting upon yourself. I don't think this is abnormal. This is normal.
I'd like to have a company.
You want a business, okay.
Business.
All right, business. All right. Now, Mark, what are the three things you want? You've had plenty of time to think now.
An at-home business.
You want a business?
An at-home business, yes.
You want a business? Okay, a business. What's the third thing you want?
Financial security for my grandchildren.
You want some money?
Money.
Okay. Okay. Right, April, what do you want?
The #1 Fortune 500 company to support any
So you want a
industry
business?
or
No,
anything that
we'll
I'd
just
like
put
to support.
business down. You'll be right. Business. You can have whatever size you want. Now, what have we done here? We've got them to dream. Very simple. It took some doing. You'd think it would be easy, wouldn't you? You'd think it was easy. But let me tell you, what has taken place here is the same right across the world. And it scares me. It bothers me, because here we are, sons and daughters of the King. We sing, we are the history makers. Now, they're nice people, but I lied to you. I'm only going to give you one of the things you want. So, Sherry, what do you want? You can have as much as one as you want, and it's got to last you your lifetime. If you lose it all, you get nothing else, you just die. What do you want, the money, the real estate, or the business? You can have as much as one of those you want. And do anything you like with it. But you've got to make a choice.
Money.
You want the money?
Yeah.
Okay. April, what do you want, the business or the money?
Okay, money.
You go the money again. My goodness me. Okay, Mark, you can have the business, the cars, or the money. What do you want?
Money.
Money again. Goodness me. And Robert, the money, the real estate, or the business?
I'll take the business.
You take the business, okay. Okay, what have we done? The first thing we did was to get them to dream. The second thing we did was to get them to prioritize their dream. You can't have everything. You've got to put it in order of importance. Now watch this. Robert, how much money do you want this business to produce for you for the rest of your life? One amount of money that's going to last you all your life. You're going to pay your taxes, you're going to tithe, gifts, offerings, look after your family, and do everything you want to do. One amount of money, how much?
$5 trillion.
$5 trillion? Okay. Mark, how much money do you want to do all the things that you want to do?
20 million.
20 million? 20 million, right. All right, Sherry, you know how much you want, Sherry. Come on. How much do you want? You're embarrassed to say, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, say it. Just let it come out.
Okay, how about $100 trillion?
100 trillion, okay. Okay. Now, let me tell you, they're going to change this later. But what have we done? Follow the process, not the person. The first thing we did was to get them to dream. The second thing we did was to get them to prioritize their dream. The third thing we did was to get them to quantify their dream. Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we thinking this way? It's pretty simple. Nothing complicated. It's not rocket science. It's very, very simple. Now we've got to do an analytical study. And we'll start with Robert. Robert, you want 5 trillion.
Yes, sir.
I've got personal requirements here, and I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to rate you, or you're going to rate yourself 1 to 10. What's your ability to handle pressure when it's uphill all the way, nothing makes any sense anymore, the wheels fall off, everyone refuses to talk to you,
7.
the bank... 7? Okay. What about your perception? You've made 10 major decisions in your lifetime. Remember, God is watching. You've made 10 major decisions in your lifetime. How many of those decisions were 100% correct?
Probably 4.
4, okay. What's your daring? How game are you on a score of 1 to 10?
8.
8, okay. What's happening here? We're finding out something about this man. Probably before we're finished here tonight, we'll know more about him than he's ever thought about himself in his lifetime. What's your ability to handle pressure when the wheels fall off and the banks bounce the checks and everything goes wrong?
6.
6. What's your perception? You've made 10 major decisions in your lifetime. How many were 100% correct?
3.
3, right. And what's your daring? How game are you?
5. A 5.
5, okay. What's your ability to handle pressure?
An 8.
8. And what's your perception?
6.
6. And what's your daring?
8.
8. Okay. What has happened here? Now, they will change this later. They're under pressure at the moment. But you see, we're doing an analytical study on their life. We're having a look at what their strengths and their weaknesses are as they see themselves, but there's something else happening here. I can see God's hand here. I've done this nearly 1,000 times and it's always been the same. There's never been any change. You know what I see? These people are different. There's not 2 of them that have ticked every box the same. You know why? Because they're unique in the universe. And nobody in the world has your voice print. Nobody has your toe print. You are unique in the universe and God loves you. And you can make an incredible impact on the world because you're unique. Even if the person sitting next to you has the same vision and the same aspiration, they will never do it the same because they're not you. Give them a clap, they've done well. Now we're going to talk about basic requirements.
Okay.
And I'll explain it to you as you go along. On a score of 1 to 10, what's your desire to have 100 trillion?
10.
10?
10.
Okay, listen to this question very, very carefully. If you did exactly what you're doing now and what you've been doing for the last 10 years and you continue doing that, what's the possibility of you getting 100 trillion in your lifetime? Not changing anything, getting up at the same time, doing the same thing, the same routine that you've been doing for the last 10 years.
2.
2. What's your work ethic? How hard do you work?
An 8.
8. Now listen to this. This is your knowledge absorption rating. If I was to explain to you Einstein's theory of relativity or quantum physics, would you be able to absorb that and pass it back to these people without error? On a score of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself?
Probably a 7.
7. Okay. Now let's talk with April. April, we're looking at 10 trillion. What's your desire to have it on a score of 1 to 10?
10.
10. If you kept doing everything that you've been doing for the last 10 years and you kept doing that for the rest of your life, what's the possibility of you getting 10 trillion?
0.
0. What's your work ethic? How hard do you work?
10.
10. What's your knowledge absorption rating?
8.
Well, it's spreading out a bit, but they've done a good job. Give them a good clap. Can you see what's taking place here? In Destiny of the Third Millennium, we give you an absolutely incredible way to do this. You know, the person you ought to know the best is yourself. The great philosophers say, know thyself. Do you know really who you are? Do you know what capacities that you have? Maybe you need to do something like this in your life. Now we're going to go to limiting factors, and Robert will ask you first. These are the limiting factors. Now you want $5 trillion. On a score of 1 to 10, what is your cash position relative to $5 trillion at the moment?
Yeah, it's way over here. It's minus,
you're off the board. Okay. Okay. Now, this is a very simple yes or no question. And remember, God is watching. Do you have a plan in writing that you can show me after the meeting, the means of transportation to get the $5 trillion, the date that you're going to achieve that in writing, in detail? Do you have that?
No, sir, I don't.